I bet you know the type. The team member who won't collaborate, always too busy to pitch in. They act like their job matters more than anyone else's. If you worked in private service any length of time, you've met them. In today's video, we're going to dive into coaching the uncoachable, or let them go. Jumping straight into termination is tempting, but this is lazy leadership. True leadership means offering a clear, documented path towards improvements and eventually competency or saying goodbye. So I'll walk you through the step-by-step process that I use to assess whether a staff member can or should be coached, or whether it's time to part ways. By the end of this video, you'll have a clear plan to evaluate if someone belongs on your world-class private service team, or if they're simply unaware that teamwork is a non-negotiable when working with your family. If you're new here, welcome to Dear Billionaire. This is the place for homeowners and house managers interested in running the household with efficiency, discretion, and ease. I'm Kelly Ford Dixon, and I share strategies to help you achieve billionaire level success in managing your household, your domestic staff, and your busy life. So if that sounds like what you're looking for, please hit the subscribe button and tell your friends. You'll be able to receive notifications so that you never miss our tips. So there's often one team member, almost always, who resists training. They won't help others, and they act as if collaboration is beneath them. Does that sound familiar to you? They're the first ones to say, "That's not my job." Let's start with the biggest misconception, that one team member's role is more important than the others. The truth? No matter how well they perform their job, it takes a highly trained team to provide world-class service. So let me tell you about Joe. Joe is the Martin, our fictitious family's private chef, and he's talented. He's been with the family 2 years, and everyone adores his food. His kombucha is fizzy and perfect. His kimchi has just the right tang, and his rosemary grapefruit syrup is all the talk for the summer cocktails on the terrace. Guests rave, and the families sing his praises. But here's the part that the family doesn't understand. Joe feels constantly stretched. And so despite the Martins' relatively simple food preferences, like do-it-yourself breakfast or very light lunch, he believes his culinary creations require uninterrupted focus. So stopping for fresh ingredients, fermenting jars of seasonal condiments, or crafting flavored infusions are priority in his mind. So much so that he flat out refuses to go to the local farmer's market on Saturday because that's his day off, unless there's an event in the house. And while the rest of the team regularly picks up slack when he is absent, so whipping up basic meals or managing food delivery when Joe's on personal time off, Joe himself will not return the favor. So if the housekeeper needs time off, Joe's response is, "That's not my job." If the handyman calls in sick, he refuses to roll the trash cans out to the curb on Thursday mornings. Joe shrugs and continues on with his daily routines as if it doesn't apply to him. To make matters worse, Joe refuses to participate in even the most basic administrative duties. So there's no standard operating procedures for the kitchen. There's no principal allergen list or preferences. And there's no documented Easter menus that need to be, shared with the team. And Amy, the house manager, has repeatedly asked, but Joe insists this information is proprietary. Never mind that most of the recipes came from the previous chef, or that he's a salaried employee whose role is technically a part of the team. And here's the kicker. He's asking for a raise. What the family doesn't know is that the rest of the staff feel very frustrated and unsupported. And Amy, the house manager, is stuck. His job description is very vague. There's no formal policy on teamwork, and she doesn't feel empowered to discipline him. Does that sound familiar? This is a very coachable situation, and today I'll show you how to keep one toxic team member from spoiling the entire staff dynamics. No matter how good the kombucha is, a fractured team leaves a sour taste in everyone's mouth. So, homeowners, they do recognize the importance of staff collaboration. However, they also acknowledge how challenging it is to find a talented private chef who reliably arrives on time, that he provides excellent meals, and he doesn't embarrass them during formal events. The homeowners want reliable, polished staff who represent their household well. But if they ignore internal dysfunction, the homeowners risk high turnover, burnout among the collaborative team members, and a culture where mediocrity is tolerated. Amy sees what's happening, but without documentation, expectations, performance metrics, or the family's support, her hands are tied. Before jumping to dismissal, ask yourself these questions. Can they be coached, or should they be coached? Here's my proven framework for assessing and addressing challenging household staff behavior. Number 1, start with everyone's job descriptions and ensure that there are responsibilities related to collaboration, communication, and flexibility, because everyone on your team must understand that they are an integral part of a high-functioning unit, not working siloed. Number 2, issue a personnel memorandum of understanding. I talk about this often, but the details related to this particular topic are sort of the unwritten rules of the household, which include requiring collaboration and cross-training, communication standards, and an attitude and presence about expectations. I also want you to include statement about a non-aggression policy and conflict resolution procedures. And that is included among many other details of the nuances of how they need to be successful working in your home. Number 3, create a success plan for everyone on your team. What this looks like is I always develop a 30 to 90 day success plan for each team member, and I update it every quarter. This avoids singling out Joe or anyone else on your team, and it sets a standard for growth and accountability. Identify specific areas that need improvement and establish goals with clear deadlines. So Joe's goals and deadlines could be by the end of next quarter, he needs to finish his kitchen standard operating procedures, the principal food and beverage preference list, creating a preferred grocery shopping list and a pantry inventory, and getting a food handler's certificate. This outlines clear expectations for Joe and informs him that he will be held accountable for these actions and completion of them. So be sure to celebrate wins, recognize progress, and if deadlines are missed, document them and skip to step 5. But step 4 is hold regular check-in meetings. So that just means do not listen to the excuses that you're going to hear, which are, I'm too busy and I have higher priorities. Meet with everybody regularly and discuss those goals that have been set, address any concerns, and clarify expectations so that you can track progress as they move through each goal. You don't want to get to the end of the quarter and hear them say, well, I didn't have time and I didn't have time to talk to you about it. You need to coach them along the way. There's going to be an attitude that shows up that you're not going to want to ignore. But always follow up these meetings with a summary email saying the key takeaways from that meeting and any missed commitments. Always acquire an acknowledgement from that employee to confirm that that staff member got the message. So number 5 is initiate formal discipline if needed. If there's no progress on these goals and initiatives, issue a written warning and be specific about the behavior that needs to change immediately, the timeline for improvement. Give it a 30-day deadline or something like that. If it's a more acute problem, tell them they need to change that immediately. And the consequences if they don't change. There has to be consequences written out, either further disciplinary action or maybe termination. So deliver this document in person, have each staff member sign that, and keep a signed copy in their secure HR files. Amy, the house manager, will need this type of support if she recommends Joe's termination. She must prove that Joe's employment here undermines the service that she can provide to the family. And number 6, terminate if needed. So if behavior doesn't improve and the attitude is just not there for collaboration, termination may be necessary. But now it's fair and it's a documented process. Skipping these steps often leads to costly severance, legal exposure, and resentment. Giving someone like Joe a structured opportunity to improve is the right thing to do. It's strategic to do those things. To wrap up, you can't build a world-class team around a single high performer who won't collaborate. Leadership means setting expectations, documenting accountability, and deciding when enough is enough. For next week, I'll dive into the top 6 estate management mistakes that every billionaire is making. It'll blow your mind. I'd love to hear your thoughts, as always, on how you decide to retain staff or train them or let them go. And be sure to like and subscribe this channel. See you next time on Dear Billionaire. Thanks for listening. We've created a staff success plan template package just for you. You may purchase our personnel memorandum of understanding template, as well as disciplinary action forms, a staff evaluation form, one-on-one meeting note format, and termination procedures specific to coaching and retaining your world-class staff. I hope it's helpful.